vote or not to vote? That is the question. Voting originated in 1776 for the United States. But let's do a little research on when it was for blacks. February 26, 1869, Congress ratified this amendment in 1870. So 1869, February 26th, and it was ratified almost a year later, 1870. This was the 15th Amendment, granting African Americans, men, the right to vote. Okay, so let's look deeper into when African Americans were considered citizens. The Senate, June 8th, 1866, ratified 2 years later on July 9th, 1868, the 14th Amendment, granting citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, including formerly enslaved people, and provided all citizens with equal protection under the laws. So, if you crafty with math, or you want to break out your calculator or pencil and paper, you'll see that's only like 59, 60 years that you had the right to vote. So there was a long time of people choosing decisions for you, passing laws that had nothing to do with you, until finally someone got a light bulb that said, hey, gotta allow these people to vote, give them the right to vote, men the right to vote. So if you ever heard that saying, follow the money, if you pay attention to any movement, if you want to shut down any movement or control any type of pushback, any type of revolt, you join it and you invest in it, put money into it, throw money at a lot of something, and you can control it. So, saying this to say that the civil rights movement was huge, and it was gonna happen, and it was a great thing, but someone, follow the money, deemed it valuable to get involved, to utilize that movement to control something else in the future. Now, if voting wasn't allowed till the late 1800s, which again is 59 years ago, then doesn't that mean that someone set up the quote unquote game board, quote unquote constitution, with the intent of not including a certain group of people? And if you add an amendment or an addendum or extra lines here and there, it's still not part of the original. Am I right or am I wrong? You following me? Okay. So there's power in voting, because voting is a measurement of recording. It's not an actual form of how it used to be back in the day, where everyone's counting, one for my guy, one for your guy, one for my guy, one for your guy. There's electoral college, and these are picked of sometimes relatives and people who may be in the bloodline of people who, signed the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, things of that nature. It may not even be anyone that's politically inclined. Maybe somebody that's doing a little bit of investment in either or party. But that electoral college, you can research this on your own, chooses who the next presidential candidate is. This electoral college has been in play since 1776, late 1778, when they kind of made it more official to where we're always going to pick what pieces go on the board. We're always going to pick what deck of cards we play with. We're always going to have some access to knowing who's moving these pieces to cause wars and things of that nature. And we're always going to know how to invest in something of an uprising to control it. So we got to be careful. And I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying to vote. I'm just saying know the power of your vote, know the history of voting, know who you're voting for. Do some research. Don't pick people because you like them. Don't pick people because of how they look. Do some research. Dig deep. Follow the money. If you have issues with things going on in the legal institutions, the medical institutions, the education institutions, then you need to look at who's benefiting off of all the chaos and corruption in these institutions. And you need to look at both sides. And you need to understand that if you're a person that believes in free will or freedom, and a person has the right to live free, choose and believe and practice whatever they want to practice, then parties may not be the right thing. Independent may be the right thing. After all, wasn't it a Declaration of Independence? And you got to be real careful what cloak people hide under, or what cloak people come under to do certain things to certain people, to control certain things, to control certain directions, to control certain futures. And you got to be mindful of these things. Our elders and ancestors, whether they were quote unquote black, white, brown, they dug into these things. They researched these things. They researched these people. They didn't just listen to the chatter because they knew that a lot of people could do smoke and mirrors. They knew that there were con men, snake salesmen, snake oil salesmen, so to speak. So they did their homework to be sure that their vote was powerful and it mattered. And you got to be careful who once was okay with another group of people, kicking another group of people, hurting another group of people, destroying another group of people, burning down things for another group of people. Now all of a sudden it's okay. You know why? Because we can see the benefit, the monetary benefit. If I know that constantly someone is going to come down my street every day and me causing chaos to this person, or ill will to this person, or harm to this person, eventually can come back to bite me in the ass in a worse way, meaning the destruction that person could cause when they may catch me off guard, or catch someone I care about and love off guard, or my belongings. So why wouldn't I befriend that person? Why wouldn't I welcome that person in? Why wouldn't I want them close? And then utilize them for what they have and what they're doing. Oh, you going up and down the street. Why don't you just take this up and down the street for me? Or why don't you just give me a ride up and down the street? Or why don't you do this? Or how about this? I'm going to say that I'm going to make sure that you can come up and down this street every day without any problems. But one day I'm going to need a ride. When I need that ride, you got to provide it for me, okay? Some of these things aren't really rocket science. Some of these things are common sense. You just got to be willing to move that veil back, like in The Wizard of Oz, and see what's going on behind the curtain, and realize that, hey, you're not a real wizard after all. You're a person. So, again, vote or to not vote. But either way you choose wisely, do your research, study, and fight for your life. Peace.